championships will be decided here today as the final round of the AMA Hillclimb Championship comes to you here on Mav TV. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Trevor. Fans are rolling into Oregonia, Ohio here to see the last race of the season on the Devil's Staircase. And what a great place to finish up the 2007 season indeed. So as these folks are rolling in, we're glad you could join us. And there is the hill marked off just straight up. And this is where these championships will be decided. In the extreme class, it is Tiger Strang with a commanding lead over Phil Libhart, who's gotten it together here in the later part of the season. There's the rest of the top 10. And in the unlimited championship, it is Tiger Strang's teammate Anthony DeHart who owns the lead over Strang himself, who is a defending titleist in both. Let's hear from the guys involved in this.
Yep, it's been the best season I've had since I've turned pro, and I'm just ready to get it over with.
You gonna miss it?
Need a little time off, all the traveling stuff gets old, but I miss riding the bike until next year.
Both of them have the same opportunity to win, do good. They're same bikes. It's up to the rider, whoever wants to win it.
And in the extreme class, you're also in contention.
Yep, that's only by 9 points, but if Tiger finishes in the top 10, he'll win it. Phil's consistent on this hill, though, so it's going to be a tough road to hold.
We had serious shock trouble for like 3 or 4 races there. We were just plagued with suspension issues, and once we finally we ended up taking a shock off our other bike to get going again. That actually got us back with a double win last race, and if we wouldn't have had that issue, we might be winning our first championship this year.
Title still very much up for grabs as we take a look at Ryan Tebow there. Tiger Strang in the back, Anthony DeHart. These guys are all such great pals until they light them up, head up the hill. A lot of folks have shown up for this weekend. There's big purse money, and a lot of West Coast guys are here as well.
Yeah, I'm out here just having fun, I'm riding for a good buddy of mine, David Watson, and we got good machinery, and we're out here having fun. We're gonna be the spoilers, I guess you want to call it.
There are Dr. Bob's immaculately prepared Yamahas belonging to Tiger Strang with the #1 plates on there. The defending titleist in both classes has a chance to put together a title in one of the classes. But aside from that, it's just a great season. James Large is back. We haven't seen him. Guys, whoa, that's a big problem. That's a very big problem. And we're seeing guys that we haven't seen all season long, or at least until early in the year. Great crowd has shown up here at the Devil's Staircase because they know that the action is second to none. And we'll be right back to bring it to you here on Mav TV right after this. Stay with us. AMA Hillclimb on Mav TV is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. There it is, the Devil's Staircase, marked off every 10 feet. Of course, getting to the top in the quickest time, that's one thing, but if you don't make it to the top, however far you do make it is where your score will lie. And it's, again, such a great crowd here. Everybody's having trouble finding a place to watch. They're hanging from trees. Tiger Strang greeting some fans here. As the very personable young man wearing those #1 plates. And there's Dr. Bob with that cigar clenched between his teeth. He's bringing the bike up to the line. Tiger will meet it there. And Strang himself has said he doesn't know what Dr. Bob does to this thing, so that when somebody asks him, he can honestly tell them he doesn't know. And there is the man that's getting ready to ride it. Tiger Strang gets it back into the spot he wants. Dr. Bob will hold the bike. The other crewman will hold the sign there. They'll fan him off just a little bit. That's how these guys keep cool. It's kind of almost a ceremony that they take part in. You can see the roofing tin there that's been erected as a barrier for the roost that comes off the back tires of these bikes. Strang hooking up the dead man. That's what they call it. It's a switch that's connected to him. So if he comes off the bike, the engine will stop. Giving the catchers up on the hill a little bit safer opportunity to grab that motorcycle before it heads down the hill. Tiger Strang gets the honor of first man to go, the defending champion. We're in the #1 plate. It'll be the first guy up the hill here in the extreme class. We're going to get 2 runs on the Devil's Staircase, fastest time count, towards who wins not only here today, but who wins the title. You heard Dr. Bob say if Strang finishes in the top 10, he'll take the championship. He'll repeat as extreme class winner. Up the staircase he goes with a nice run, and as he hits the top, It's going to be a 7.862 run. Here comes Ryan Tebow. This young man is really making a name for himself and coming on strong in the sport of motorcycle hill climb. Tebow running a two-stroke Honda out of Riverton, Rhode Island. A lot of East Coast versus West Coast guys meeting here in the Midwest. There is going to be a shootout at the end of the season among these guys, a non-points paying event that should be very interesting indeed. Bringing a lot of the West Coast guys who kind of take more of a turny way up the hill, whereas the East Coast style is straight up, just like this. Tebow digging hard, looking for a 7.8 by strength, see if he can beat that. Doesn't look quite good enough. 8.363 for Tebow. With no practice runs or qualifying or anything, it's the first time they get a look at the hill. It's the first time they run. Up we go. The number 72, Scott Campbell out of West Virginia. Campbell having some fun here, running that two-stroke Honda, similar to that of Tebow. 8.9 second run for him. Leaves the hill over to Kevin Cox out of Huntington, Maryland on a Kawasaki, also a two-stroke. Modified dirt bikes, long swing arms, paddle tires, chains, you know, everything they can use to get these things up the hill. Oh, big bounce there, lost some momentum. And Kevin Cox is going to struggle to a 10.619 second run. As the time pops up, he kills the machine. Really almost stalled it out. Out of Yorba Linda, California, here's Brett Peterson, another fellow we haven't seen a lot of this season, but this event has brought him out of the woodwork. KTM powered bike. And that big four-stroke heads up the hill. Wearing the number 6, leaping and hopping his way over the stripes, lands it and pulls off an 8.7 second run. That's good for the top 3 at the moment. Yeah, hold your ears as Jerry Bennett revs it up. Bennett's got a lot of power under the plastic on that thing. A Harley-Davidson powered machine makes a sound that a lot of these fans just love to hear. Oh, that bounced him up out of the seat. He might need a chiropractor after that when Bennett makes it 330 feet up the hill and keels over. That hard landing, no doubt, was a shock to his system. He undoes the dead man and gets ready to go. And here comes James Large. Large has been a winner in Hill Climb Championships over the years. We haven't seen a lot of him this season either. And James Large also running a Harley-Davidson powered machine out of nearby Orient, Ohio. He's a formidable competitor no matter where the hill is. James Large, you know, is going to be going for it every step of the way. Mechanic pops the bike in gear, one gear all the way to the top. No shifting, just hold it wide open. Actually, there's a lot of throttle control necessary. You want to get out of the throttle, keep the back tire on the ground. It's a lot like offshore powerboat. Throttle man and driver all rolled into one. And Large has got an incredible time, 7.1. He's going to take the lead away from Tiger Strength and let the course over to Adam Doublestein out of Michigan on a Kawasaki two-stroke. Sponsored by Perry Harley-Davidson and Buell. So Kawasaki machine sponsored by Harley-Davidson dealership. And Doublestein's bouncing his way, gets crossed up a little bit, pops over the top with a 9.764. He'll need a little bit more speed than that if he's going to be a contender in this one. Kurt Snelling out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Snelling also making a rare appearance, shall we say, for the season. And Snelling's losing some momentum and some traction there. He's really trying to recover. And as he eases across the finish line with a 10.765, he'll be looking for more the next time he makes a run. Jacob Latkovic out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, another name we haven't called this season. But Latkovic has come here with high hopes of taking the big purse. And makes a right-hand turn on the last face, turns a 9.332. Jason Smith out of Utah, another West Coast guy coming in to town for the opportunity to run for the big purse money here. Jason Smith on a Yamaha.
Farmington, Utah, on a Yamaha.
Similar to the machine ridden by Tiger Strength. And he's rolling that thing to the top. with an 8.282. Well, some of the first run is done. We'll have more when we come back. First run still underway here at the Devil's Staircase in Oregonia near Dayton, Ohio. Fans enjoying Vendor Row as they're looking for souvenirs to take home. Nathan Redmond out of Rochester, Minnesota. On the number 80 machine, next man to head up the hill. It's a KTM. And Redmond eases out of the throttle over that first face. Don't want to get a lot of air because the landings are awful hard like that. And he's digging rears back on the seat there. Pulls the front wheel up in the air and turns an 838. Here in the extreme class, Redmond will head back down. Here's some high-tech cool-off equipment as Anthony Utley gets set to go. And Utley out of Indiana on a Yamaha, digging for the top. Big Roost heading down the hill behind him with a 9.134. No one's getting close to that 7.1 turned by James Large. Man, the guy comes out of the woodwork, throws down a time that nobody's been able to touch just yet. Here goes David Price on that Kawasaki. Decker Welding and Fabricating sponsored machine got all crossed up next to the sideline there, but stayed on course. It's going to be a 10-second run with a 10.212 for Price. Here's Robbie Peterson, also out of California. A lot of these West Coast guys running their own style out on the left coast. They've showed up here to the Devil's Staircase for the season ender. Well, at least the last official points paying round of the AMA Hillclimb Championship. KTM powered bike for Peterson. Well, shot of him getting ready to go on that number 46 machine. Rolls out of the gas on the first face, picks the front wheel up, keeps the back wheel on the ground. He's not really steering, he's balancing his way to the top. 8:42, nice run for Peterson. He rolls into the top 10. Boy, they just keep on coming. A record number of entrants, 24 scheduled to make runs here in the extreme class. Oh, a tough landing there on the number 88. As Chad Koopsma out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, leaves the course over to Colin Guy, another California rider. Guy out of Santa Rosa on a Suzuki, one of the few Suzuki-powered machines that we see in Hillclimb competition. Listen to that thing roar, man, making plenty of power. Getting it to the ground, that's the secret. Tight ropes up the right-hand sideline, pretty much in the center of the course. Lands it with an 8.608. Times lots of them in the 8-second range and high sevens. And here comes Harold Waddell riding for Dave Watson. Said he might be the spoiler in this one. Out of Omaha, Nebraska on a Honda-powered bike. Watson, of course, double champion a couple of seasons ago, injured recently, and has left the bike over to Waddell. Waddell is on the gas as he heads over the top with a sub-8-second run, 7.7, and here comes Phil Libhart. Always a danger man here on the Devil's Staircase. You heard Dr. Bob say how consistent he is. Libhart has taken his hits over the last few weeks, but started to recover. Actually, middle part of the season, you heard him say suspension problems, and suspension a very important part of the equation here. Power to the ground goes through the suspension, and you got to keep that back tire pushed down to the earth. Phil Libhart on that venerable Triumph-powered machine, looking for a sub-8-second run. 7.169 by Large is the time to beat. He gets close. 7.348 for Libhart. That has got to be encouraging for him when he gets ready to make the second run. Paul Copps out of Michigan on the Harley-Davidson powered machine. Again, out of the throttle over that first face. Feet back on the pegs, jumps the second one nicely, lands it, and Copps is going to turn an 8.8. Not good enough to take the lead in this one. It's still a 7.169 by James Large. Let's see if Kenny Rell out of nearby Lebanon, Ohio has got something for him. Another name we haven't called a lot. Not a great start. Lost a little bit of traction right out of the box. He's throwing rocks everywhere, but not getting a lot of grip. Feathering the throttle up over the top of the 10.203. Kenny Rell. And here comes Big Anthony DeHart. He's the leader in the points championship for the unlimited class, but he's always a contender on another one of those Dr. Bob machines. Oh, a nice crisp power that thing is making. Listen to it when he revs it up. Correction on this. Not a Dr. Bob bike, but rather Anthony DeHart's Kawasaki that he's running with that green camo outfit. He's struggling a little bit. You see him shaking his head. Something's not right. He's looking back at the bike, and a 9.785 is a very un-Anthony-like performance. Chad Disbennett, another fellow who's a danger man, but we haven't heard a lot from this season. Disbennett showed up earlier in the year and sits just inside the top 20 in the points. He hasn't been a consistent performer, hasn't appeared consistently during this 2007 Hill Climb season. But let's see if Disbennett can pull something out here. Oh, I would say so. He's got a great run going here. This one's going to be under 8 seconds at a 7.4. That's third best at the moment behind Large and Libhart. Here's Jeff Thomas. Thomas always a trouble man. He's picked up a couple of wins this season in the unlimited class. Here in the Extreme Hill Climb, getting a good run going. And Jeff Thomas tops the hill with a 7.862. Not bad at all. These folks are having fun with dust all over them. Hope you are too. Let's do it again, says Dr. Bob. He's still got that cigar. I think he smoked a little bit of it. But he's got it clenched in his teeth there with the fire out as he backs Tiger Strength's #1 machine into the start house there, that R6 Yamaha. And Tiger Strength needs a top 10 finish to clinch the championship. He might be riding just a little conservatively, and if so, you can certainly understand it. If all he needs is a top 10, well, the championship is more important than being a hero here on the Devil's Staircase today. Nevertheless, Strength's twisting hard on that throttle. A 7.862 on the first run. He won't beat it this time, but an 8.2 is still good enough for the top 10. As we run through the order for the second time. Here's the number 5 of Ryan Tebow. Twisting hard on that two-stroke Honda, keeping the back wheel on the ground as best he can. He hasn't let off that thing. He's just letting the tire land where it will. 8.375 for Tebow. Just a 100th of a second slower than his first run. Here goes the number 72 of Scott Campbell. The West Virginia rider had an 8.987 first time around. He won't beat it. 10.124. So the 8.9 is what's going to put him on the list. Kevin Cox turned a 10.619 on the first run with the Kawasaki. And by the looks of it, he's got a better run going this time. Rolls over the top with an 8.8, big improvement for Kevin Cox. California's Brett Peterson, 8.42 on the first run. Well, he's wiggling, tail wagging that thing up the hill, but he's got a lot of forward bite. 8.519 for Peterson. Here comes the number 40. Jerry Bennett out of Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Harley Davidson power, you can't miss the sound of that, but at 9.266, that's not going to get it done. Here's James Large. You know, he's got the fast time from the first run at 7.169. Libhart, the only one that got close to him with a 7.348. But Large just wants to roll. He wants to run that Harley Davidson powered bike up the hill and give all these HD fans here something to cheer about. He's going great. Under 7 seconds, a 6.943 for James Large. That should be good for the win because nobody's gotten close to it yet. The two fastest times, both by the same man, as Adam Doublestein will try to see if he can do something about that. 9.764 on the first run. He's going to need a big improvement, and it's going to go out of bounds. 300 feet. He's still digging. But that's all she wrote for Adam Doublestein at 305 feet. Kurt Snelling. Snelling out of Cincinnati, Ohio, 10.7 on the first run. This is not the baseball pitcher by the same name, in case you're wondering. But his second run at 10.887. Latkovic out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just outside the top 15 on the first run with a 9.332. Eases over the top of that first kicker. Lands it nicely. But 8.995 puts him right in the middle of a whole bunch of guys between 10th and 20th position. Utah's Jason Smith came from the West Coast contingent to turn an 8.282. This first time up the hill. Good for about 7th spot. Let's see. Oh, he's got an improvement going here. 7.832 as he flies over the top. And the crowd is loving every bit of that. Not sure what this is all about, but come on back. Maybe we'll find out. AMA Extreme Hill Climb second runs are what is in store. James Large, Tiger Strength, and Ryan Tebow sitting there enjoying all the action here. As the number 80 machine of Nathan Redmond backs into the start gate. And as Redmond takes that KTM powered machine up the hill, 8.38 on the first run. This one looks about the same. And it turns out to be an 8.45, a little bit slower than the first time up the hill, so he'll stand on the 8.38 from run number 1. Anthony Utley, Indiana rider on that number 371 machine. 9.1 the first time, 9.2 this time up the hill. David Price out of Maryland. 10.2 the first time around. Needs an improvement. Oh, crossed up at the bottom there. Lost some momentum, had to make a course correction. And David Price will do a 9.568 with a big wheelie at the end. Robbie Peterson. Peterson out of California, 8.42 on the first run. Good for a top 10. Anything quicker than an 8.42 will move him higher up the standings. And he's going to go under 8 seconds with a 7.982 here in the Extreme Hill Climb second run. Winding this one down, Chad Koopsma out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, hanging on to a top 15 position from the first run. Had a 10.3. This one's going to be better at 8.914 for Koopsma. That moves him solidly into the top 15. And Colin Guy gets ready to light it up. He had an, oh, shuts her down at 40 feet, or it shut itself down. He's checking it out, seeing what's going on. That's the shortest run of the day by far. He had an 8.608, good for the top 15 the first time around. And here's Waddell on Dave Watson's equipment, 7.738 on the first run, in the top 5 anyway. Said he was going to be a spoiler. Looks like his afternoon's going south, as right around 400 feet. Bike goes sour on him, and he's got to shut it down. No obvious reason to him or anyone else. Oh, chain's off. There we go. Couldn't see it in the shadow, but now the reason is very clear indeed. Chain's off the sprocket, even though the ones on the tire are still there. Phil Libhart with a 7.348. The only one to get close to the times of James Large, who has the 2 fastest times at 7.1 and 6.9. Libhart is going to run into problems just short of 100 feet. And the Triumph, for whatever reason, has let him down. Not sure exactly what's going on there with him. Kenny Reef out of Lebanon, Ohio. He had a 10.203 the first time up the hill. Needs about 3 seconds to beat the time of James Large. That's not going to happen, but will he improve? Yes, 10.0 for Kenny Reef on the second run. And here's Anthony DeHart on that Kawasaki. Out of the championship in the extreme class, but leading the points on the unlimited bike. And Anthony is he's had a second disappointing run here in the extreme hill climb. Not happy about that. So Anthony's going to lay it down at 350 feet and call it a day. Chad Disbennett, 7.4 on the first run. Top 3 time for him. Well, fourth quickest time, but 2 are owned by the same man, James Large. So if Disbennett can improve a little bit, he might move up the number 2 position, currently owned by Libhart. Devil's Horns all the way to the Devil's Staircase with a 7.378. Not good enough to displace Libhart, but it parks him solidly in the top 3. Jeff Thomas had a couple of wins early in the season and then sat out the rest of the AMA Hill Climb Championship. But he's come back. Whoa! With a big get off. Throws the bike out from under him. Hard landing. Of course, the crowd's going to wait for him to get up before they really start cheering. Let's take another look at this. Thomas has given it everything he had and just couldn't even, well, he couldn't even use the rear brake to bring the front wheel down because the back wheel wasn't in contact with the ground. He's going to shake it off and get to his feet. Now the crowd lets him know how much they appreciate the big show he put on there at the top. He might not want to do that again on purpose. And James Large with the two fastest runs in the class, turns out to be the winner here in the extreme hill climb competition on the Devil's Staircase. Nice run, James Large. There it is over Phil Libhart. Close second place over Chad Disbennett. Tiger Strength with 7th place earns the championship and repeats as the number 1 plate holder in the extreme class. We'll be back with more after this. Another record entry list moves us to the Unlimited Hill Climb Championship here in Oregonia, Ohio. Season finale on the Devil's Staircase, and Kip Copps out of Muskegon, Michigan. Another name we haven't heard a lot of this season on a Suzuki. He's going to be the first man up the hill and will set the time to beat. Once again, 2 runs in the Unlimited class, and Kip Copps throwing dirt all over as the light is settling down here. Copps turns an 8.733. That is the time to beat. Colin Guy out of California, another Suzuki. 2 Suzukis in a row, 8.7 the time to beat. And for Colin Guy, and an 8.409. So he's now the leader in the Unlimited class. Here's Jeff Thomas, always dangerous in this Unlimited hill climb. Again, 2 wins earlier in the season, but by virtue of his absence is just outside the top 10 in the championship points. I don't think that's nearly as much of a concern to him as it is trying to get a win here. Jeff Thomas, Honda Power, twisting hard on it. Body English keeping that bike running up the center of the Devil's Staircase, and he's got a nice run going. And Thomas with a 7.172 over the top. Great run for him. That's going to be the new time to beat. And it is going to be very difficult to go any faster than that here, as the competition is chewing up the hill a little bit, and traction is always a little harder to find. Robbie Peterson out of California on his KTM powered bike. Trying to keep the momentum going. Oh, bucked him into the bars and lost all kinds of speed. 350 feet up the hill, he brings it to a stop and is looking for what's going on there. Kevin Cox on the Kawasaki, things stuttering just a little bit off the starting line, hitting the rev limiter. And he too is going to come to a premature end. 160 plus feet up the hill. Catcher's down there. Here comes Dr. Bob. What happened to the cigar? Well, he left it back at the truck, I guess, as he rolls Tiger Strength's #1 machine into the start house. 6 wins in the extreme class. Tiger Strength with a pair of wins in the unlimited class has him dueling with teammate Anthony DeHart for the championship, although he's down and would need a very bad run by DeHart and an outstanding performance for himself in order to take that title away. It looks as though they're going to finish 1-2 in the championship, although Phil Libhart might have something to say about that. Tiger Strength, 7.732, a ways off the 7.1 set by Jeff Thomas, and here comes Alex Benner. Benner on a Triumph. 8.442 to be exact. And Chad Koopsma will be the next man to try the Devil's Staircase. Came all the way from Sioux Falls, South Dakota to run this Kawasaki powered machine. Koopsma rears back over the first kicker. Gets back in the gas. 8.795 pops up on the timing sheets. And they're going to fire up Dr. Bob's machine here for Anthony DeHart, the points leader and perhaps champion, as he's going to run his Yamaha here in the unlimited class. Take that number 75 off for a #1 if he puts it all together. DeHart signaling he's ready to go with that signature green camo outfit. Got the big paddle tire backed up to the wall. Runs a little soft over the first kicker and then gets back in the gas. Here's the Anthony DeHart we're used to seeing. Bulldogging that thing over the top. Not a great time though with an 8.779. He'll need an improvement on that. Throws a little scare into the competition there, maybe giving him some hope on the other hand, as Phil Libhart helps Paul Copps roll his #7 machine to the line. Copps with Harley-Davidson power, twin pipes out the left side there. Libhart throws it into gear for him, and he's set to go. Left, he turns right, he turns left, he turns right again, and does a donut at the top, gets through the lights at 11.182, and with more than a little showmanship. That was a hard landing. I'm not going to make any jokes about it. He took a beating here where you don't want to. See him hugged up on the tank, and it kicks him over the top, face plants him into the handlebar pad, and that was a rough landing for Copps. Not the way he wanted to finish a run. Looks like he's basically okay, as the machine is locked up the back wheel, and we will be back with more from the Oregonia, Ohio Hillclimb Championship finale after this. They're taking Paul Copps down the hill on a four-wheeler. Turns out his ankle or leg is what really took the pounding. Another look at it. He lands hard right there, and his right foot, I'm going to say, got caught under the bike. And that's what did it for him. You can see him favoring that leg as he tips over and hits the ground. Here comes David Price, another Harley-Davidson powered machine, roaring for the crowd down there, many of whom have shown up on the Milwaukee brand. He rolls it over the top with an 8.403. Solid in the top 10. Anthony Utley from Indiana, Yamaha power on the #371. Lost a lot of forward momentum right there, and he's struggling to regain some of it. 9.374 is not going to do the job. Here's Joey Howard, first time we've called his name, the Muskegon, Michigan rider, another Harley-Davidson powered bike. Feathering the throttle, hard landing right there, gets the thing stood straight up in the air, and he's going to have to make a correction. Just about in the same spot. He tips it over, but went out of bounds at 340 feet. Utah rider Jason Smith. Another Harley-Davidson powered bike here. They're popular in the unlimited class and among a lot of the West Coast riders. Smith rolls an 8.377, putting him in the top 10. Again, this is only the first run, and now Ryan Tebow's going to give it a go here on that Honda powered machine. Oh, he's got a good run going here. Tebow, very aggressive young rider, and he's going to roll a 7.4. 7.4 seconds, one of the few under 8 second runs we've seen so far. Brett Peterson, not to be confused with Robbie, but also out of California. They're brothers, and he's on a Harley-Davidson powered machine, 8.279 for him. Here comes Phil Libhart. He's embroiled in a battle for the runner-up spot in the championship with Tiger Strank. They're very close together in points. Arriving here at this season finale. Libhart with so much experience on that Triumph that he's been running since anyone can remember. 7.342, a great run for Libhart. No one's touched that 7.1 set by Jeff Thomas. Chad Disbennett runs a 7.34, jumps up in there among the top contenders. So right now it's Thomas, Disbennett, and then Libhart with the quick time so far. Number 95, Doublestein, having some problems. Doesn't sound like the inches running as hard as he should. And he kind of idles it over the top at a 9.906. Yeah, he's looking down at the bike, and something definitely went off song there. Scott Campbell's got it pinned before he even hits the clutch on that Kawasaki. And Campbell runs a 9.724 to the top on the first run. Here's Harold Waddell. So far, no spoiler for the man who thought he would be a contender here in this one. Waddell's got a big crossed up wheelie going there, and something came off the bike. He's going to keel over at 370 feet, does everything he can to keep it straight. And that's going to do it for the first runs here on the Devil's Staircase in Unlimited. Tiger Strank trying to hang on to the runner-up spot here in the Unlimited class after clinching the title in the Extreme class. Strank has got a good run going, and a 7.862 is very good indeed. And that, well, now he's got to wait for the man in orange there, Phil Libhart, to see what he's going to do. But here comes the number 47. He's got the devil horns on, running the Devil's Staircase. Chad Disbennett, 7.293. He owns two of the fastest runs here. And Ryan Tebow's got a tall order. He had a 7.4 the first time around, but he's running out of steam. And he's out of the throttle right now, looking back down the hill. Maybe he just knew that a 9.01 was not going to be an improvement over his first run. Let's see if Jason Smith's got anything for him. .114 for Smith. Jeff Thomas sitting it out here with the fast time from the first run, letting everybody else see if they can pull something together here. Brett Peterson, nice run with an 8.331, very consistent. Here's Anthony DeHart, the points leader. He needs a good run to try to clinch that championship. His first run at 8.779, not what he wanted. So with a lot of pressure on the man who would be champion, Anthony DeHart Now he's got it rolling, and Big Anthony's going to give the crowd their money's worth here as he rolls a 7.862, and that should do it. Shirt tail flapping, and he's got every bit of it. Here's Jeff Thomas's first run. It is good enough to win the class. Jeff Thomas comes back for win number 3 on the 2007 season and reminds everybody just who is the man here at the Devil's Staircase. Take a look at the top 10. That's the way they finished up here today. But for the championship, it is going to be Anthony DeHart taking the title over teammate Tiger Strank. A 1-2 finish for Dr. Bob's boys. AMA Hillclimb on Mav TV is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. Well, the Extreme Hillclimb Championship goes to Tiger Strank as we look at the rest of the top 10. In the unlimited class, teammate Anthony DeHart tops Tiger Strank. A 1-2 finish for Dr. Bob. Look how close it was for 3rd and 4th as we take a look at all the standings here. And there's the number 1 plate in both classes. The men in blue both showing off the number 1s here for the crowd. Let's hear from them, starting with Anthony DeHart.
I knew I had the championship, so I was just trying to get the fastest run I could get. And it seemed like it was a lot faster than it said it was, but I'm happy either way. It's been a long time coming since I joined pro. 7 years, I finally won one.
Well, the champagne shower for the teammates who take both the number 1 plates. Tiger Strank owned them both a year ago, but not this time.
This will be my 4th in a row for the extreme class. You know, I probably ain't never been that nervous in my life. Other than, you know, today it was just, I don't know what it was, but yeah, I haven't been really practicing doing the riding that I usually do, so that had a lot to do with it. I like to have to win in both classes, but you know, like I said, I haven't been riding. I've been riding nervous, riding scared. And usually if you ride like that, you're going to get hurt. Thank God we didn't do that, but you know, at number 1 plate, it just makes all the difference.
James Large, a very happy fellow, living large with the win in the extreme class.
Tom had an extra bike laying around the shop there, and well, it's not extra, it's mine, but you know, we come out to this race and this is our hometown. He gave me the opportunity to ride it, and I didn't know what it was going to happen. You know, we went to Indiana last week, come out here today, and everything just fit. You know, it's almost like a good pair of shoes. Everything fit perfect, and everything worked fine. And after my first ride, I knew I could go faster, so I didn't even wait for someone to beat me. I just jumped back in line where I normally was and found a good line, and we did go faster. And once we got that in there, I think we secured ourselves because no one beat our first time in the first round.
So congratulations are in store for today's winner, Jeff Thomas and James Large, and for the champions, Tiger Strank and Anthony DeHart, earning their championships here on the Devil's Staircase and showering the crowd with plenty of dust. Yeah, these folks came here to get dirt in their beer and enjoy themselves. The champagne spray. There are our 2 winners on the day. We already saw the champagne showers by the 2 champions for the season. And with that, we bid a hearty goodbye to the AMA Championship season, although there is still a shootout in store for us here on Mav TV. We hope you'll join us for each and every one of the great events that we bring you on Mav Sports. We're certainly happy that you could join us all season long and hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time, I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody.